All right.
What is up to the people?
Welcome.
Welcome everybody who's just getting in here. We've got old Lori, Zach of all trades, Chris Stockton, Don't Touch, Calisti. What's up to all you guys just hopping in?
I just literally clicked the video to go out, so we'll give it a good couple minutes before we get jumping in here. We got Woodman with us. How you doing over there, Woodman?
Fantastic. Yourself?
All right. Not bad, brother. Not bad. Okay, let me see a few things here.
Oh, yeah, there's some good stuff happening. We've got a little bit of comedy relief for you at this show coming up this hour. We have obviously lots of facts and truths to smack you in the face, and for some people it needs to be a healthy punch of truth to the face. So it's some interesting stuff. We were in a little pre-show research talk. We were talking about possible there's still military at the border. What's happening there? Obviously, the mainstream media doesn't know what to do with themselves because we're speculating and hypothesizing that their handlers have gone, well, AWOL.
Now, yeah.
Off the res. What you think about what's going on, Woodman? Yeah. What's this AWOL business with all the handlers we're hypothesizing here?
What do you think? Yeah, what do you think?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so I'm thinking we were talking, this is why we got this backdrop up. Military at the border. That was the first little stage that happened in when they gearing up in November. And there's some reports that some of them have left, gone home, back to their, home base. But did the military and Trump that actually have intelligence gathering tools and all the intel and know-how that this caravan that was coming was an orchestrated event? The lead guy that was bringing them was maybe paid by somebody, and this guy's a known terrorist. So you're bringing, and everyone's like, well, there's still just a bunch of peaceful women, but we saw it was mostly able-bodied young men, and most of the photos, the ones that are able to jump the wall anyway, and then they knew naturally bringing 10,000, 15 from Honduras that you'd get a bunch of other ones through Mexico that would just naturally be like, we want to go too. So you're going to get more followers. And then on this side already, crossing in these areas where Jim was showing, nothing for a trained mercenary or a wannabe soldier of fortune of sorts that are already here for the last 8 months, gearing up, setting up shop, arming up. And when this 20,000 did hit, they would blend in really quickly, possibly arm some of the ones that were already gonna, it was a way to get armed the minute that you got some of these able-bodied men and everything, the minute they got here. It wasn't real intelligent to be walking from Honduras to here with weaponry off your back and photos being taken of that. So I don't know. That's a possibility. But all I'm saying is if you have the military and Trump for some reason wanting to put the military down there, just in case. Now they were given orders to stay back. And again, we end up having the Border Patrol agent on the front lines, local law enforcement probably somewhere in between. I don't know the extent of it, but it is interesting. What do you guys think about that kind of scenario if you have the military and Trump catch on with intel and find out things like that versus, no, it's just a peaceful caravan and we don't probably have a bunch of bad people in the country. Trump just sent military down there for whatever other reasons.
Well, if you think about it, back in the beginning when they started doing that, they referred to as a percentage. Out of this major crowd of people coming, only a certain percentage, that may be, on the evil side of some one way or nature, Well, on the way up through there, like you were saying, Mike, then others joined in with it. So, that escalated a little bit. Of course, now they don't want to say it that way.
I'm not denying that there was some women, children, and civil young men or whatever, adult civil men that just naturally picked up, even from the Honduras beginning. So that was the whole plan. They would take whoever would come. That would just help the storyline, I would imagine. But what's your thoughts on that, Ben?
Well, I think we were clearly told by the horse's mouth, if you will, the border agents, the ICE agents that Trump went in the field and talked to. They very clearly gave him some very hard
coming up
numbers.
to like yesterday, right?
They're
now
not,
that
yes, coming up to yesterday. They're telling him
live talk.
Yeah, they're saying that not everybody. Are you kidding me? They're not all quote unquote Mexicans from the country of Mexico. They're coming in from. They have Pakistanis. They have Afghanistan individuals. They have people coming in from China, Libya. They have the people coming in from the North Africa, South Africa, and they're coming in all over because
and it's like there's only like 800 of them or so. They're saying, how do we know?
Think about it. Yes,
because
and not only that.
Like if you're in a ball game, folks, and the people have the little clickers. And a lot of them doormen will be like, as people come in, you'll get bouncers at bars, right, guys? I mean, it's like because there's a code. They know they could have 220 people at a capacity, and if not, they're going to violate codes with the city. So some people do keep count, but there's nobody doing that for illegals. So how do they even give us a number?
Yeah, I definitely think, obviously, there's a lot more than just enfranchised, hungry people coming to America for the American dream. That's been a guise and a falsehood for the last 100 years.
And I don't think it's the only way.
Yeah, it's not the only way. And think about it, you guys. Mike made a clear point. What is the logistics of getting 10,000 people 1,000 miles? Just how about 100 miles? Remember, you guys, when we see this stuff, it takes a massive amount of money, logistics, and not just one person. It takes a lot of people. And what they didn't show you from the first caravan until they became a potential body of invaders, but were repelled off, they were desolating and decimating each small village and city they were going through. Trash everywhere, human fecal matter, and everything you can possibly imagine. And so if this is possibly gearing up again, and Trump's already telling us while he's standing there at the border with the ICE and border agents behind him, telling him, this is what we were doing. He was like, there's another one coming, possibly bigger than the first one. And where is all this finance and logistics coming from? Obviously from those who have an unlimited amount of finances and have almost a ubiquitous form of power on individuals that can do this kind of stuff. Because think about it. You don't just get 10,000 people to get up and leave their homes and take their belongings they have and go trek across 1,000 miles.
Yeah.
That's just lunacy.
So do we... And like I said, I don't think it's the only thing, the border. I think it's one of the major ways. And I think it's, just not the only way. But if it's even 25% of how things are done, Trump's explaining that people are driving. The huge one is human trafficking.
Yes.
You can't fly commercial with we all know that. So now people are like, well, they're doing it by plane. Well, these guys, it's so orchestrated, they do it by private plane. I don't know, maybe some, I'm sure. But I think a big one's out of that southern border where there is no fence. They know it. They have these vehicles that are really awesome, like Trump was saying, that can just...
If I see some jacked up 4x4 rigs in my neck of the woods that can pretty much overpower any type of natural thing around here, I'm only certain what the evil cabal on the other side has access to. I mean, these people have access to military equipment that, as common Americans, we don't have access to because there's no real continuity of accountability in them kind of countries. So they kind of get, if you got enough money, you can buy a tank, and you can buy one here. It's just not the weaponry is not functional. Where the one over there, weaponry is still functional. So I think it is very interesting. And yes, I would agree with you, Woodman, and definitely you, Mike, both of you guys very much so that the military is still there. I think it's been put back as another physical symbol of, hey, if things go off, we're taking to the next level. But I do think that this this partial shutdown will stay until there is a physical barrier. And if it doesn't, they don't come to agreement, that could have been the whole plan in the beginning, was to keep the government shut down, because now it opens up other avenues like killing the Fed, dismantling the District of Columbia, and possibly turning it back into a municipality, not a sovereign country. And this can only be happen when, i.e., we are not allowed to borrow. We're at a governmental partial shutdown, but it's a shutdown of, you're talking Department of Natural Resources.
It's a lot of the loaning, the banking and loaning spots, folks. We're digging into it. What do you guys think about that? Are we in a shutdown? Is this part of it? Are we currently in the midst of, did the Fed get usurped? Kind of like they usurped us in 1871. Was this a usurping?
Yes.
What do you guys think on that? Is it a possibility? Real quick, by the way, I hope the stream's out there. I did juice it up. I did some different settings, actually going a couple megabytes higher. So looks like we got a good amount in the room. I'm hoping it's stable. Again, do you see likes anywhere? I don't know where we're at on likes.
Like, I see about 62. I'm going to hit it, make it 63, and I'm showing 292 watching. So, I mean, this is, I feel like super blessed that you guys could be with us this afternoon and really get into this kind of stuff. It's always a treat when we got Woodman and myself remoting into the studio.
Yes. So a couple things, if we can get, we'll open up a chat line. If anyone wants to call in with an opinion or a question, we'll do that. We probably won't bring anyone in, just to keep it quick. You can give a shout out, whatever. But if you want to call in, I'm going to put up a little, it's a different kind of call in. It's not just a number, but it is something you do with your phone or tablet or from a computer.
Yes.
And you don't really need to get your camera. You're just going to talk into your phone like normal, and we'll hear you.
We're just going to do like a normal old vocal call in, if you will, just
But
21st
if you're on your
century
phone
style.
watching the show and you want to call in like that, you're going to basically have to get out of the show while you do it, and then you have to go back and watch that show to watch that part again. But you'll know what's happening because you're talking.
Don't watch, be a part of it, people.
We'll open up the phones. What? How many likes are we at right now? 60, 70?
I see 154.
Okay. Well, I was going to say, once we get to like 200, let's make it 250. 250 likes.
Let's make it 250. Yeah, and then we'll open it up.
And then also,
now,
we're going to do another challenge coin today. So anyone that wants to, because of the times we're entering in again, we are going with a, let me get, you guys are still on. Can you be here or talk? Oh, their voices are off. But there we go. Armor of God. It's in the packaging and all. I will mail that out.
I'm liking that. Should be excited to see who gets that little gem.
Yes.
Little,
how we do
tangible piece of truth.
The email. All right. So go to the email. And again, start firing up the emails. Let me see them come through and in, because I'll be getting another package out, and I have a couple more mods I got to take care of. Chris, I think Stockton, and Danielle, and
a lot of you awesome Patriots, man, for sure. Now I'm going to be throwing up, boom, that's the email, the Patriot Hour 2018 at gmail.com. I threw it up in the top chat, so if you guys can always click that.
And I believe it's below the video. Let me look.
Should be below as well.
It's down there low, but yeah, it's in there.
Okay, yep, there it is. So
I think. I'm looking. Anyway, what?
No worries, you guys. I'll definitely.
Yeah, it is. It's down there for sure, but also in the live chat. Ben just dropped it off in there, and you can drop it off maybe again here. But check that out. Other than that, Woodman, what do you think in a collective thought on the security at the border, the overall barrier fence? I have a quick thought, and I've said it many times, but if you have a certain portion of the country arguing that it won't work, that's what you always come up against. It ain't gonna work. they're going to get over it this way or that way. They'll put a ladder on it. So you have to come up with these scenarios where now they're carrying ladders through the deserts and treks and whatever. But build it. If it doesn't work, what worse situation are we in? Like, we have a crisis of drugs, human trafficking, and the flow of people. And I'd put that last in my own priority. I might be wrong. I can understand that faction when it's a woman, a child, a man. They're just hungry. They want to eat. They want to work, and they're going to do whatever it takes. That is the least of my concern. I still would like it to be done the right way because we take in millions a year. But go on. What is your thought on that whole scenario?
Well, for anybody to come into the country and you do it legally, there's no problems anywhere. You have to have a wall. You have to have some kind of a setup. You have to. It won't stop them all, but it's sure going to stop probably a good 80% of them. I mean, seriously.
Because Ben was saying the same thing. Able-bodied men that are pretty good could probably climb it, right, Ben? But not like so much a woman and a baby and old elderly that.
What I was going to say
only
was, in a laughing matter, I've got to say this. These anti-wall people, they must know they're. Mexico must have about 5,000 MacGyvers that can go ahead and maneuver that wall without any problem. You know what I mean? Come out with some kind of a extendo.
Oh, they already. Yes, hey, they can come out. I mean, you know, if they hide their footprints by wrapping their shoes in regular household carpet, which is the most ingenious thing to cover one's tracks, and they do that, and we've all of us been taught how to cover our tracks, and exactly, MacGyvers, you have no idea. But just like we talked about, having a physical symbol that is, that says you can't come in here. We all know a lock only keeps an honest man honest. Babies ain't climbing that wall. Women ain't climbing that wall. Old folks ain't climbing that wall. That's only able-bodied men.
So really logically, I'm going to say in that quickest way I can, you've said it best too. Like, we look at the number, the amount that the budget was put out for this year, the amount that the actual Trump is saying that he needs, the $5 billion. And it's been a big thing. People are coming up off their couch like, no, that's a waste. And they're just so mad. That is the biggest thing that they've, that they can think of that's been a waste in their life. But it's actually for the good. It'll stop trafficking. It can stop some drug flow. Now, if it doesn't stop all of the trafficking, if it doesn't stop all of the drug flow, I get it. But at least it stops some of it. But you build it, it costs $5 billion. Out of the budget they have compared to the $5 billion, it's pennies. It's like Woodman making $50,000 a year and you spending about $4 out of your yearly $50,000 you make at work on a lock for your door because the lock broke. And if you're like, no, I'm not spending $5, and you're arguing with yourself and you keep going into your wallet to get the $5 out, but then you put it back and you're like, no, I don't really need it. And you either make the choice or you don't, but it doesn't break the bank by any means. So that's what the equivalent is. It really is. It's $5 out of our pockets to put a lock on the country's door, and people are arguing with it. I don't get it, but
let me ask you this, Mike and Ben. Let's just say, what would happen if there is no wall? There is no restriction. Reverse this. You go do that to another country.
That's what should be asked. They don't want to do this, and they think it's inhumane. So the other way is, so we just take it down, and then it's that old common thing like, well, if there's just nothing there, then nobody will come. If you put something up, somebody's going to want to climb it. I don't know.
Well, I would put this forth to both of you guys. If that does work, then what's happening in Paris? What's happening in Germany, where they have an influx of these people coming in, and there are no borders because they're part of a union and they lost their sovereignty. And so people, especially in Paris, in that city, and in France in general, they are literally, everything is going through the roof financially. Macron is a crazy guy who he's deep state, and these people are literally losing their identity because of no walls.
So think about it. If this was their guys, if this was a system that we're under where these central banks all connected, they're in all these countries where they've screwed them over with their monies, then they've pushed it to be this new thing. Now it's messing with cultures and people's ideals. And then the next thing was to come in and say, well, geez, you guys are a mess. Let us, have a kind of, the one world government was just steps away because you're already getting countries to blend, lose sovereignty is the whole idea, right? Losing your sovereignty. Mm-hmm. So yeah, if Trump was for that, I don't think he'd be pitching, let's keep a wall. No wall equals no sovereignty, no country. This is how it has to be looked at. It's either you have a border, you have a checkpoint. We're a state that likes to have benefits, or a country for that, and we have benefits for people that have earned it. We have programs that are in play. We talk about the system getting reset. If it does, what is your guys' opinions on some of the programs out there that we've had? Do you think there'll be another form of them? I mean, it is up to the people, right? It's how we've come to a time where, yeah, there is technology. There are these things to keep in mind. If there was a constitution and there has to be something put back into play, I mean, what do you think about that moving forward? If there is some kind of reset, Ben, start with you.
Well, actually, we said this before. If it is a reset and we're no longer on central banking, we're going to go back to traditional constitutional banking, where you have a state. Well, you have greenbacks. You have any currency. Call it what you want, as long as it's based on precious metals that we have hold in our physical treasuries reserve. So you wouldn't have a central bank. Or 244, really close. Maybe after after our talk and Woodman walking out. So check it out. So you wouldn't have a central bank. You'd have the Bank of Texas, Bank of Nebraska, Bank of Indiana, Bank of Oklahoma, the city bank. And so if you are a citizen, or whatever you want to call it, of that state pays your governor. That state houses your money. That state does everything. So you are, like in the olden times, I am from the sovereign state of Oklahoma, and we over here in Oklahomans. And so what happens is if you abolish all that and that gets reset, well, then think about it. You would be correct. The people in the states would pass state laws because people in Texas tend to live a little differently than those in New York. And therefore, their laws need to reflect the laws of the land. And so if it's a reset, just like let's say my Oklahoma dollar is just as equivalent to a Michigan dollar or a Californian dollar. It's all based on the precious metals that our treasury holds in reserve. It's only the currency, the liquidity that goes around the country that people go, oh, we need more money. No. Your dollar that you thought was worth $1, if it's backed on precious metal, that dollar could be worth $1 million. Now think about it, folks. Then gum goes back to 5 cents a pack. Then your gas goes down to pennies on the dollar. A loaf of bread is extremely cheap because the power and the value goes up. Not going to take a barrel load of money to buy one loaf of bread like it did in Germany when the Deutschmark went.
Yeah, so, I agree. And I mean,
what do you think, Woodman?
There's lots of money that have been ran into the ground already around the world, the country, not the country, but yeah, the whole world. There's been lots of countries' money already deflated. I mean, we can go into that all over, but yeah, what do you think, Woodman?
That's exactly correct, man. That's how you gain world order, people. I mean, for real. We've got to wake up. Come on.
That's 101.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me get this up.
And this is just so true. It's just so true. It's going to trickle in mentally for Americans finally, I think. Trickle. It's going to take a little bit. I hope they get the impact.
Yeah, no, they're waking up slowly but surely. Let's take a call in while we keep talking, but I'm going to put this up here for a second, you guys.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Woodman. When that kind of stuff, when you're talking about and even trying to look at the southern border crisis, most individuals are looking at it through a very ignorant lens, and that's not a bad thing. That's a lot of people, and that's where a lot of us were at one point in time. But when we start to realize what we are trying to accomplish is just not a piece of frivolous ink on paper. We want to have brick and mortar, tangible things that can withstand the test of time. We need new roads, bridges. We need dam repairs. Our electrical grid is so incredibly out of date that an idiot can go download a script and go hack and take down half the grid. So we know all this. And so this is step one for basically securing our country and our infrastructure, because people don't understand that. Obama said he has a magic wand. He's just going to create more manufacturing. Yes, that's what humans do. We make things and then we sell them.
All right. So we got any questions or anyone want to call in and give a shout out or ask a question? You're going to log on to vmixcall.com. All you got to do is type in your name and then this password, and then hit the join call button. And then you can keep your camera pointed away, pointed at the ceiling or the floor, and just talk, because you're not going to be seen anyway. And you can have it on your cheek. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, and you can turn off video feed and only do vocal. So if you guys look on your phone, when it comes in, you're going to see, if you turn your phone, if you're using a phone or a smaller personal device, turn it horizontally, just so you have a better view of the buttons below, and you can go ahead and either highlight take the text box away because we're not texting. You can take your physical device's preview screen, take that away because that's your device just telling you it sees you. And you can have, and if you hover your little mouse or, just try pushing the buttons, except for end call, obviously. It's pretty straightforward, folks.
Because it shows like a little speaker there. If you click the speaker, then you're not going to be heard. But here, I'll put it back up just for a minute. Again, vmix call. And the password's 1752436768. 17524366768.
Boom! I just put it back up on the top chat, you guys.
All right, no big deal. It's up. So I'll keep an eye on it. So border wall activity. So is it a possibility? What would you agree with the military helping out at the border if they had to, or if we did catch on to a source of there was going to be some kind of propped up invasion of some bad actors, terrorists? This Operation Galeto, where supposedly terrorists have been entering, joining up, setting up shop, and then this was the second part of it. Together, it creates a little scenario. Would the military be all right to engage that, Woodman?
I'm sorry, I got sidetracked.
Basically, can the military, or do you agree with the military defending our country from an invasion of sorts, or a terrorist plot, or should it be other agencies?
It's got to be the military. But you want the world to think it's a joke. This is this is a joke. It's got to be the military.
No, I agree.
You can't have it.
I agree too.
That's, some people think that's like the number one thing, that a military should defend its country from an invasion, right? But typically we take that to be, fought overseas or something. We take it elsewhere, or some of those wars were not really protecting our people,
anything
so
but
to say.
But those
it's interest.
Power. Yes.
Other people's interests is what we protect. I don't know what they call it, but what they've called it.
Yeah.
By the way, we're all three veterans here, as you can tell. Hey, Woodman, where's your buddy that you
Oh, here we
Is he
go.
in your studio with you or what? There he is.
I love the backdrop, brother. Look at that.
I'm not going to put a name on him because I don't want to offend anybody and have all kinds of they'll cut us off. So this is yeah, this is my little buddy. Say hello to my little buddy.
Oh yeah, he's always happy to see us.
Oh yeah, woohoo! Take him on your shoulder, you know, like a pair. Oops,
That's
this
awesome.
bastard falling off.
Ben was a
Sorry.
pirate, did you?
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. There we go, everybody. My little guy. He normally wears a beret, but I'm wearing it today. You know, I earned it. So
Yes,
sir.
the human
Yes, sir.
trafficking is a much bigger problem than what people realize. So,
yeah, that's another reason why the wall needs to be there. You know, a little harder to slip people like that over. You know what I mean? It'll slow it way down. You can't stop it. You can't stop evil at all. But you can sure do something to try to slow it down. Good Lord, people, like, you know, you don't want to stand there and be in the grandstands and watching. You got to get involved, got to get down in that game there, you know. Sorry, I have to apologize for that. You got to get
Oh
involved.
no, you're good, brother. I agree with you 100%, man. I agree with you. You gotta, that's what we're doing it here. We're doing what we can. And if some of you guys, I know that there's people like the Ohio Minutemen. They're a couple hundred strong, I think. I think they were going down to the southern border to give aid to the border security. And I think there's other either Minutemen or militia groups in our country who are meeting down and giving assistance at the border as much as they can. Remember, we still have our rights, so I can go down to the border carrying all of my legal firearms and going down there and patrolling it. Anybody
Chris,
can do that. I mean, that's... What was that?
I see Chris. What's up, brother? Can you hear?
Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. What?
No, you're good, brother. What's going on?
Not much. How are you over there?
Hold on, let me turn this down so I get a better signal. Hold on.
Is it coming through my speakers? Because I got it hooked up to my truck.
We hear you now.
Sounds good.
Oh, sweet.
Yep,
Hold
you're
on.
awesome.
Let me,
So there's another Marine in the chat room I saw. His name's Hookman or something.
Mm-hmm.
There's two of us now. Be fair warned.
there's two of you guys.
Yeah, there's two Marines in the chat room.
Uh-oh.
You know what that
Nice.
means? Hide the crayon.
That's a two or more theory right there, right?
Yeah, I was trying to figure out the remix thing, and I was like, oh, and I hit it, and all of a sudden I interrupted you guys.
Do you got your phone in a widescreen mode, like to the side, so it's?
Oh, I can do it now. Not bad.
Yep. Now it
There
just.
you go.
Yep.
Go.
And then
Nice.
Ben knows
So
about that.
what are
I
you?
don't know. All right.
You should be good to go for whatever you see, but I know you're driving. But what are your thoughts on the military currently still residing at some of our southern border areas?
That would be in my personal view, a huge deterrent if I wanted to, I don't know, let's say, come into your backyard and I saw, oh snap, you've got a whole bunch of Army dogs, Marines, or National Guardsmen, or whoever standing there going, you ain't coming in this backyard. And it would make me think twice.
Yes.
But, not everybody is, I don't want to say I'm smart in any way, shape, or form, but, it's common sense. If I see a whole bunch of dudes over there and I'm trying to get over there, I'm like, maybe not. I'll try to do it the legal way, maybe.
Yes. That's. If it can stop a fraction, I'm all for it. And if it does nothing, then we're in no worse position that we're in. That's how I feel about it.
Correct. And what I don't understand, I mean, this is just me hypothetically thinking, we can build all sorts of weapons, a vast array of, weaponized things. I mean, we're geniuses as Americans. We make great war and battle hardened weapons. Load up one A10 Warthog in that, the Vulcan cannon. I'm not sure the nomenclature, but load it up full of rubber bullets. Call in one, close air support mission. Let it do one strafing run. People are going to
Yeah. Make it rain.
absolutely.
A little bit of making it rain. Woo! That's awesome. No, you're right. It's like I brought that up, I think, with Scott the other day. If we all remember that little Jessica that fell into the well, I think we probably all would have been really remember that the little Jessica fell down. Tons of things were invented based off that because they couldn't really come down and get her there. I think they were digging next to her, coming over. But I think Velcro or a form of Velcro went real popular after all that. The guy came up, he's like, "Look, you just stick it," and the military might have been playing with Velcro, but so you get a lot of genius ideas, people pumping out ideas, and then the work that has to go. So even like with this border wall, with certain beams coming in at angles and deflecting bullets, or like Ben said, you always have to take a step to the left. You can only see at an angle. You can't.
Your line of sight, yeah, it wouldn't be a direct line of sight. I mean, I don't know. As a Marine, Chris, I don't know if you see some of the installations,
yeah.
Especially on the coastal installations like Camp Pendleton and things of this nature. I would see different structures to where you couldn't look directly through the fence at a 90-degree angle. You had to like kind of go like this side and get real close to see through it. And I can just remember that it was on that one, and then some special operations bases that we were going on that you could just see they had those that really cool, like you could see through them, but you couldn't walk right up to them like a dumbass. And at 90-degree angle, actually see directly what's going on. You had to like kind of go at an angle.
Right, exactly. But I think of the Marine Corps mentality. Let's make it rain or what have you. But I don't know if you guys know what a Frankenstein is.
No.
Mike might know. Woodman probably knows because he probably invented it. But Frankenstein is where you have a coil of concertina wire and you pack it full of C4. And then when like an early detection type of thing, but somebody trips it, and then all of a sudden you've got millions of little concertina wire taking out your legs and stuff.
We used to call that we used to call that redneck frag grenade right there.
But now listen, you guys got to incorporate like. Remember the old Claymores? You got to do the same thing with these deals, because otherwise, you guys ever seen a Claymore really go up?
Audio went down.
What was it, Woodman?
Has anybody seen a Claymore really go off?
Oh, they're a beautiful sight to see. A controlled explosion with a bunch of BBs everywhere when they're really big. Oh, that's so awesome. You actually cuts trees down in a good swath when it goes off if it's close to a forest, and it leaves a great crater. Sometimes if you can turn it back around, it's a good improvised hole to climb into.
You guys keep going. I'll be back.
But check it out.
Enemy.
Always.
Wire on one section like that. Good Lord, man. I love it.
I've tried tripping Claymore several times with a clacker, and I'd never actually watched one go off. I'm like heads down, clicking.
Click. Yeah.
Come on, why aren't they firing? Everybody laughing at me, and then it goes off. oh, look what I did. Can we do another
Well,
one?
so what they call a clicker has got to charge up enough, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
It's always a pleasure. And, you know, this is interesting when you get, and for a lot of the viewers out right now, you can actually see the brotherhood and camaraderie coming out when you get a bunch of veterans together and we're talking lingo that probably only us and other fellow veterans understand, and we're laughing about things that maybe you don't understand. This is where we try our best to kind of, I guess, rationalize our lingo, but it's one of those, if you've never served and you've never been through that, it's really hard to understand what we're saying. But we always love to share our wonderful, fun experiences of military service to you guys out there, because I'm sure we all got all kinds of crazy stories and fun stories. We don't ever want to get back and tell you all the things you have to go through on having a bad day at the quote unquote job, but I can tell you, man, there's it's always great. And so again, you know what Woodman says about how we speak to one another, you can really see it coming out now. That, man, we just, when you're a veteran, you have camaraderie, and even as a patriot, think about, like, you know, Chris and I've never met you, Chris. When you started this channel, you were a moderator. We were talking more, and now I've put a face to a name, to where you live at, to how you feel, to a fellow veteran, to I mean, think about it, brother. It's like, it's no longer, oh, I have 2,000 friends and I got 2,000 thumbs up and they all love me. No, I'm actually talking to a real person who has thinks like I do, who served his country with distinction and proudly, and it really comes across, man. So that's why this whole thing has just been a wonderful thing. I'm just super excited about it, man.
Absolutely. And I think Woodman, I mean, judging by your beard, did you serve in the Civil War? Did you fight for the North, South, or just asking? I mean,
I taught
thought
us how to
we're
talk
dynasty joke.
with a parachute, you know. Yeah, I know. I was going to ask.
But Mike and Ben and Woodman and I can't think of the other guys you guys have on.
Scott and those guys.
When you have veterans, when they talk, I mean, like you pointed out, we talk to each other in a almost like if you're standing in the middle of Tokyo and you're American, you're like, what are these people talking about? And that's what I love and I miss the most about being in the service. But just how we all talk to each other and rag on each other, like, oh, you're a Marine, you can't even spell your name correctly. But and every once in a while you get an Air Force guy in there and you're like, hey, look at me. And then all the Army guys and the Marines are look at you, you got your Manny and Petty done. Congratulations, thumbs up. But, that's how we talk to each other. And
Hey, Chris.
Yes, sir.
Chris. First, where's your yellow vest?
I didn't hear the question. I'm sorry. The audio from you, Woodman, is coming in weird. Say that question one more time.
Where is your yellow vest?
Oh, I ain't got a yellow one. I got an orange one.
Nice.
I got an orange one. That way I don't get hit. I don't become a ornament to a Peterbilt truck or something on this road. So.
Hey, so Chris, I was going to ask you another more of a pivoting question. What is your take on, we're now coming up on almost an historical time length of a partial government shutdown, and what could possibly maybe come out of that, talking about the southern border?
So we got the shutdown, right? The government shutdown, and then you have, I'm probably going to butcher his name because I don't want to make fun of him, but you have a veteran, I do believe he was a Navy SEAL out of Texas, Crenshaw. He's got an eye patch.
Yeah.
He just wrote a letter or something saying that he doesn't want to get paid until this whole government shutdown is, stopped. until it's back up and running again. That right there is leadership, to me. You know, he's taking one for the team, saying, "Hey, you know." So I don't know.
I think it's Daniel Crenshaw.
Oh yeah, a bad man. You know, he doesn't pop his collars anymore, but he still wears the hair gel. Navy SEALs do that, but
What are you going to do?
they do. But you know, you have this prolonged government shutdown. So you have Donald Trump saying, "Give me what I want, or we ain't playing." And Donald Trump is a businessman, and I love him to death. And what he's doing is right, in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
And anybody on the right side of the house or anything, if they cave to this, we're going to lose. You know what I'm saying? You can't cave. Stand
No,
strong.
and you're starting to see, we'll get into this in a minute, but that's a good point because, and you said, well, you got Donald saying, give me what I want, but he's saying that he's sticking up for the people that voted for him. And so he did use this a lot during the campaign. We all agree. And he's sticking to that he got voted in by all these electoral college votes. That's a lot of states to beat. He beat her fair and square in that the system that we play in. He won. She only won like 18 states, I think, or 19. I don't know. And he got, everything else. So, and I say everything else because DC, there was other weird little facets, but
and the electoral college, if anybody wants to Google this or look it up, that was devised by the Democrats back in the day because they, and they said, it was to their advantage. They never thought that Trump would win. I mean, they never dreamed of it. And this dude comes in and he's got that businessman mentality, not a politician. People need to get that out of their head. He is not a politician. He's a businessman.
I agree.
He was never prior military, prior no other office held ever. And that's what everyone screamed that we needed. That's what every year was about, a normal man. And you can't say he's not normal. In this day and age, it would have took somebody like that with some clout, with a backing already. The media latched on to make a joke out of him. That's the only reason they gave him some time. Donald Trump's running. Let's go ahead and they propped him up immediately to make him a joke. But boy, oh boy. So
and joke's on them because that man is doing things that I've never seen before ever. I mean, it's crazy. I've now as a lineman, I'm I don't know if anybody know what a lineman is, but
you're helping us get our electricity to everything else. Oh my gosh, you're pivotal, brother.
So I climbed.
Tell us more, Sparky.
Right? So just seeing it here in California, people are building like crazy. It's like some dude will come in and say, "Hey, I'm gonna build a 500 house subdivision right there." Well, you got to have electricity get there to those houses.
Yes.
So, but they're popping up everywhere. Before Donald Trump, I've been doing this for 14 years. Before Donald Trump, it was sporadic. People would, I'll buy this patch of land. I'm going to build 500 houses or whatever. It was very sporadic. I mean, business was slow, like building was slow. Since this man has taken office, it's like, whoa, can we slow down just a little bit? I'd like a day off. I mean, come on. It's crazy how much they're building. And that's just in California alone, Northern California, excuse me. Now, I can't speak for Southern California. I haven't been down there since I left. But
no. Couple things. Real quick, when I vanished my screen, I was letting my dog back in. She has been out, and I want to make sure she wasn't taken off. I didn't have her whatever. Anyway, so I had the show on, and I'm like, this is a pretty good show, by the way. It was good. You guys are handling it well. You guys got into, you missed the military camaraderie, Chris, you were saying, and that's one of the things. You don't find that anywhere else hardly. Now, I would say I got out of the service in late 04. October 1st was like my day out. And I was working with AM General building the military Humvees, and there was a huge fraction of us veterans there. I was actually on the veterans committee for the union and all this stuff, but it was awesome because we were working on military gear. and there was just a lot of military there, so the humor allowed it to go on. And I was there for a good 7 years, so it was like it was a good. I put that into the chapter of it was and then hey, I always hung out at the Legions, right? So Woodman and tons of other vets there as well on the military side for the committees I was on. It was all military, so seems like I've always surrounded the like-mindedness, the camaraderies of all branches. We're all brothers, but of course, when we're in at the time, you pick on some of the other ones, and you still do that to this day and age. We all do, so we have a right to. Damn it.
Yes.
You guys are awesome out there today. Any questions for us while we got what's on? I think.
Yeah. Anything you guys want to ask Chris or whatnot? I know that we're always loving the fact that he's another like-minded veteran about our sovereignty, and so obviously we're
you
getting
end up-
just tons.
Are you from California, Chris? Born, raised?
Yes.
Okay.
I was born and raised in Southern California. Grew up there all my life. Whittier, California, which is, we like to call it East Los Angeles. I mean, Los Angeles is huge. I mean, you could live in Bellflower. That's where I was born, actually, Bellflower. Born in Bellflower. Everybody's like, oh, where's Bellflower? We just say Los Angeles. Los Angeles is huge.
L.A., Anaheim area, I think, right?
Anaheim, right, exactly. That's
Not a
go
big A.
Angels, but love the Angels. And I went in the Marine Corps. Well, I was going to be a baseball player. Like I thought I was going to be. I was actually being scouted by the Tampa Bay Devil Rays and the Seattle Mariners. My father got really, really sick. And my dad was like the second coming of John Wayne. He looked like Clint Eastwood, but he was John Wayne. I mean, we had John Wayne stuff all over the house. Like, whoa, like stalker
Awesome.
alert, Dad. And so my dad was one of those tough guys that would never go to the hospital unless he was bleeding to death. And I knew something was wrong. And so I asked him, hey, Dad, what can I do to get you in the hospital? And he looked me square in the eye and he said, go join the service. I was like, all right. So I gave up my baseball career. I went right down to the Marine Corps, or I went to the recruiting office. My dad and my uncle Bobby were both in the Army in Vietnam. My dad was a LRP, or not a LRP. Yeah, LRP, long range reconnaissance.
Long range reconnaissance
Yeah, yeah.
patrol. Oh, yes.
That's what I think. Yeah, he was a LRP. My uncle Bobby was a door gunner on a Huey. And so I was like, yeah, I'm going to go join the Army. Fucking, I'm going to be just like my dad, my Uncle Bobby. And then the recruiting office was closed. Or they weren't closed. They were out to lunch. So I was like, all right, well, my dad's uncle, my Uncle Billy, great Uncle Billy, he was on the USS Indianapolis. He was one of the 318 sailors to survive.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Wow.
When the Indian got hit, got sunk, and then they were overboard, and the sharks decided to take them. My Uncle Billy, my great Uncle Billy, was one of those things. I'll go be a sailor. They were out to lunch too. And I was like, well, I ain't going in the Air Force because I don't have the smarts, But this Marine came walking out and he's like, "Can I help you, son?" And I was like, "Yeah, I need to sign up right now." And he was like, "You're an idiot." And I was like, "Well, I'm in the right place then, the Marine Corps, right?" So the rest is history. Marine Corps, I loved every minute of it. And I got out, and an LAPD officer and my buddies talked me out of it and said, "Hey, come move up to Northern California. The girls are prettier, and it's really cool. You don't have to sit in traffic." And I moved up to Northern California. Here I am.
That's awesome, brother. Man, it's even wonderful that you come from a military family as well. I think that's a real similar story in a lot of veterans that we talk to. It's kind of it's like a legacy thing. I got lots of family. Mike has got lots of family. Woodman. I mean, I'm sure you've had family members who served in the military, and it's just it's amazing. Yeah, even to see
Margaret
where all of
Walker.
us has ended up
SoCal
now.
traffic is devilish.
Oh yeah, it's funny. Yeah, no, I used to live out in L.A. for many moons out there. That's crazy. And what's funny when you said California, that is a great description of what's literally happening, because look at this Southern California's border wall.
No doubt about it.
See, I can go tell you how communist this state is. my wife and I, we own a steakhouse here in Northern California, and so we could just dive into the laws that they come up. I mean, they wake up in the morning like, oh, I'm going to ban this straws, a drinking straw. Really? So if we get caught giving a drinking straw to somebody without them asking, it's like a $50 fine to start. Like, I mean,
Does that happen? Like, you're allowed to have them, but you don't give them out. People have to ask.
you don't stop until they ask. So if someone set down a glass of water, you come into our restaurant and you sit down, and the first thing we do is, or my wife does, I have nothing to do with the place, except that my name's on all the bills I have to pay. So you come in and you sit down, and then usually first thing they do is hand you menus and a glass of water, and everybody in the world drops off a straw. California, you can get fined for that. Well, we're putting a big F you to that, and we're still keeping it out. So bring it on, Gavin Newsom. Idiot.
Jeez. Wow. It's almost like they're afraid that, you're too dumb and we left a couple, you could poke yourself in the eye with a straw. Therefore, it's got to be outlawed, like forks, and they got to have spoons with smooth edges because, the retardeds can't really quite get the food in their mouth. They stab themselves in the eye.
Get a spork.
Let's say you came into our restaurant with a child, right? Legally, we're only allowed to, when you say, oh, my child will have a Sprite, if you're a child under the age of 12, oh, he'll have a Sprite, which is normal. It's okay. Not in California, they get milk or water. This is how stupid it has gotten here. It is ridiculous.
Wow.
I can blow everybody away with this next law, which was passed last year or 2016. I can't remember. Let's say my Ben Woodman, you guys live in California and you own a dairy farm or a big old stretch of land with a whole bunch of cattle on it. This is what California is making the cattle farmers do. It's kind of funny, but I'm sorry. So let's say you have 300 head of cattle, and now California is requiring you to buy a backpack for each one of those cows, and it's supposed to catch all the cow
methane.
Gastrointestinal. Yeah, methane gas, and they think that's what's warming up the state of California.
No.
Oh.
Swear to, I cannot make this up.
Who is
Wow. Cow fart bags.
What is the consensus like since you own a restaurant? The amount of people coming in, is it almost like everybody wants the straws? And who made it to where you have to ask?
They're like, hey, so like, hey, can I have a straw? I'm like, absolutely. And they're like, can I have 10 of them just to piss off the governor or whoever? Absolutely. I'll hand them a whole box of straws.
It's funny.
Ridiculous.
So they keep passing everything that's against the majority. Is it a few doing things, or is it just split depending on where you live? That's how somebody wanted it.
It's basically split. So where I live in Northern California, we're about 30 miles north of Sacramento. So anything north of Sacramento, that's basically Trump country. It's you see everything, Trump this, he's awesome or whatever. But you have the People's Republic of Davis, which is the city of Davis, California. I don't know if anybody knows UC Davis. That is diehard. I mean, if you walk in there with a Make America Great Again hat in the city of Davis, they're gonna, throw their purses at you because they can't have.
You may be assaulted.
Right.
Might be assaulted.
Bring it on, you bunch of bitches. Hell with them. Then you have San Francisco. If anybody's ever planning a trip to go to San Francisco and go sightsee, go somewhere else. Go to Mobile, Alabama. It's way better. Go to, Dallas, Texas. Go check that out. Because if you go to San Francisco and you park your rent-a-car and you step, well, number one, you're going to pay $150 just to park your rent-a-car, and you step out and you're like, hey, I'm going to go to Alcatraz. Well, you open your car door and you step out, you're going to step in human waste. I mean, it's that bad. It's horrible. I mean, I could clown on California all day long. This place used to, when I grew up, this place was awesome. I was proud to go to different states and say, yeah, I'm from California. Now I'm like,
So what happened in 20, 30 years that you can explain? I mean, what do you think it is that caused it?
I can 100% absolutely tell you it's liberal policies every single time. Governor Brown just got rid of him, was the worst. I mean, he was elected, he was, I want to say in 1981 to 1988, I think, or 86. I'm not sure on the exact years, but he was the president. He was the governor of California, and he was horrible. Like the police and retirements and all that, like state retirements, he completely decimated it. I mean, horrible. And then we got out of him, and then it started getting better. And that's when I was in high school, when I started paying attention. I was like, oh, this place is awesome. And then when I was in the Marines, and I was like, oh, stationed at Camp Pelton, like, oh, California's not so bad. And then we had Arnold Schwarzenegger, who he was hit or miss. I mean, 9mm bullet guy. And then you got Governor Brown again. And it's like, what the hell? Did they learn the first time back in the 80s? And it was just insane and asinine, but the stuff that this guy would sign into law, and you're like, are you kidding me? I'm a huge gun enthusiast. I mean, I honestly believe that everybody should own a firearm and carry it.
Yes.
I could tell you
Yes.
the stupidness of the laws enacted. So, June 1st, June 1st, this year, you're going to have a background check if you want to buy ammo. That's, Governor Brown signed that into law. An AR-15,
Yes.
Anybody wants to own an AR-15. Well, you have to take the upper receiver from the lower receiver in order to eject the magazine, right? That's legal in California. So you have to physically take the upper receiver, remove the magazine. So, okay, let me back up. I kind of go back in 2004-ish, 5-ish. They said, okay, you can have an AR-15, but it has to have a bullet button on it. So a bullet button is where you depress the magazine to release. Normal people would use their thumb, it would release the magazine. We called it a bullet button because you could take another 5.56 or 2.23 bullet and stick it in, and you have to depress another little button inside the magazine button to release the magazine. It was called a bullet button for years, and they were legal. We bought into it. We're like, okay, we'll play along with your stupid law. Up until the San Bernardino shooting that they had, where the two Islamic terrorist douchebags decided to open fire on mentally and physically handicapped people. Notice that's all they do. They go for the weakling. A California reporter from one of the news stations said, oh, they had AR-15s with bullet buttons, and they made it so bad. Like, they talked about it, and that's what started, like, oh my God, bullet button. It's actually physically hard to use a bullet button, and they made it asinine. I was like, I can't believe you people. And so they passed a law, so now you have to physically take the upper receiver from the lower receiver to remove the magazine. And that's California.
It's crazy. That is crazy. The fact that, I mean, and all four of us here are prior military men, so we know.
I just brought you up
How
big.
to-
That's all, Chris. I had brought you up to.
We all know how to efficiently cycle through rounds and magazines. That's what makes you an efficient fighting force, right? And so, and I have personal experience with the Southern California area and then Californian laws concerning the guns. The AR-15 that I had, that was a Californian, had the bullet button. It also had the 30-round mag that had the pin through it, so you can only put 10 rounds in it, which makes that a lot more fun. And so I go out in the southern desert, and I want to squeeze some rounds off. I had the hardest time. Now remember, I'm prior Army. I like that. I was range cadre. Like I know my way around firearms quite well. and I was having the hardest time. Bullet button, boom, throw it out, put a new one in. I mean, we're talking, I couldn't cycle through rounds where when you talk about how they're putting, now you have to completely disassemble the weapon just to get the magazine out. That is crazy. They're literally taking our ability away. Yeah. Oh, you can reload, but you literally have to pop the upper receiver, swing it forward, boom, boom, back. I mean, you add an extra 45 seconds of reload time. That's like, wow.
Yeah. So, well, you gotta go like this. You gotta go like this. You gotta go. Wait a minute. Okay, I'm ready now again. Very.
Time out. Stop the battle, please. Hold on.
Yep.
All right, guys, hold on. All right, hey.
But we do not comply. That's how my take on it. I do not comply. So.
And it's amazing.
There's an article that popped up real quick. It says, "What are you more worried about, illegal immigration or partial government shutdown?"
What am I more worried about?
Yeah.
Illegal immigration. Shut down the. We still have a military. Still,
So that was an interesting question you had proposed, not a question, but more of a statement of the background checks on ammo purchases now going in effect. Now, we all know when you go legally purchase a firearm, they have to do a background check, and they do the FBI, and it's a kind of a ubiquitous, very light background check. Now, think about this, folks. I'm going to go into Walmart. I need to get me some 22 long rifle rounds. I want to get a little bit of plinking and shooting some apples. You mean tell me that I'm going to go buy a box of ammunition, then the person at Walmart, is going to run my security check? I mean, you think about the logistics of having to do that to the people. You can be 18 years old to buy ammunition. What kind of background check do they have? They're not even in the friggin' system. They just turned 18.
Right. So take it a bit further in the state of California. Let's say my father, who was a John Wayne enthusiast, and he had a 45 Colt long rifle, and my father, he passes away, and he hands me, I got a 45 Colt long rifle. I've never shot it before. I don't know where my dad got it from, probably from John Wayne himself or what have you. Anyway, so let's say me and my buddy's going to go to the range, and then I go to the gun store or, Walmart, and I'd say, hey, I want to buy a box of that 45 Colt long rifle. Or, am I saying it right? Yeah. 45 Colt.
Yeah, 45 long rifle, yeah.
Yeah, long Colt or whatever it's called, cowboy action gun. And they all of a sudden, I pay my $5 background check to buy one box of ammo. It's going to come back negative because that 45 Colt long rifle or whatever it is not in my name. And so I'll get denied. Swear to God. California for you.
Jeez, California.
Well, they were like, wow, dude. Because that goes on the heels of when they were trying to, and I don't know if this was based in the California, but I know it was West Coast. They were basing that they were wanting to register all firearms, even those that were gifted or inherited, and like because I have firearms that. They're in the early 1900s. I have a couple pirate guns. There ain't no paperwork on a pirate musket. I mean, think about that. You know what I'm saying?
I have a 1862 Argentinian Mauser. This thing is awesome.
Oh, wow.
I love this rifle. It's so fun to shoot. And, I can't go buy ammo for it. It's a relic. I mean, they didn't have a registration back in 1800s here, people. So, I can never buy ammo for it. And I refuse to buy ammo for it. I'll make my own. And this whole state of California can kiss my fucking Marine Corps ass. Yeah.
I amen to that, man, because I tell you guys, what you could see how fired up veterans get when our constitutional rights are being infringed upon, because the four people you're watching right now at one point in our lives signed our life away for a period of service. And that doesn't mean just like, well, I could die. No. We gave up our constitutional rights to possibly die for yours. And that's the difference. And so when they start talking about we want to take our arms. How about we can't say certain things? This is hate speech. This is this. This is infringement, and vets don't take this, and we won't take it sitting down. We take it standing up and pushing back.
Heck yeah.
Absolutely.
I was gonna say we were just showing some videos. It looks like some of the mainstream channels are starting to flip their narrative on the border as well. I'm looking at articles right now, getting my mind blown as well. They're like, this mainstream one I won't name right here just said that, and you wouldn't expect it out of them. It's like the wall will cost an average of $17 per person, and all the comments are like, that's cheap. It's like, I'd pay 20. Yeah.
In the room. I'll pay
See?
for everybody that's in the chat room right now.
See?
If it's $17, I'll write the check right now.
See?
Right now, yeah, right now.
Right now.
That's pretty cheap for our
Yeah.
security.
17 bucks. Do it.
Did you see that Acosta video where he basically proved that the wall's working? And
There's a meme out there right now that shows him underneath an umbrella, and he's talking into a phone or something, and the meme says, "Where I'm standing, I'm not seeing any rain." But he's
because it
underneath.
works.
Jim Acosta, he's a douchebag. God, I hope I cross paths with him because I'm gonna knock him out.
I'll accost him for sure.
Accosted. You got accosted. That's funny though. No, it's like where I'm at, there's no rain here, but it's raining everywhere else. But I'm under an umbrella. An umbrella works.
I don't know if you guys got time for a funny story. You got time for a funny
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Everybody that I work alongside, all the fellow linemen, they know that I'm a fired up jarhead. And so in 2012, Hurricane Sandy hit the East Coast, and it hit New York pretty bad. And they called for help, So the company I work for, they sent, I think, 180 linemen. I happen to be one of them, to New York to help out. And this hurricane hit right at the time where the election was coming up, with, I think it was Mitt Romney and Barack douchebag Obama. And so we're flying over there we leave California, we fly over to New York, and they, our head honcho from the company I work for gets up and he says, "Hey, prepare when we land. There's Barack Obama is going to stand there at the end of the runway or whatever. When we walk off the ladder or, stairs, Barack Obama's going to shake everybody's hand." And I just politely raised my hand and said, "He's going to get knocked out if he puts his hand in front of me because I'm going to punch him, So might want to not let me walk off the plane." Well, it didn't happen. Barack Obama never showed up to the airport to shake our hand. I would have knocked him out. I mean, that guy's a douchebag. But yeah.
This is
so everybody was like, "Oh shit, somebody got the jarhead fired up again."
Yeah, no, hey, that's interesting. I think if every American could be as fired up as us veterans about our freedoms and about our constitutional rights and about those the documents that founded our great country, boy, this would be an awesome place.
Absolutely. And so if anybody in the chat room or anybody hears this and sees me now, you cannot find anywhere in the world where a group of people decided to build their own country, start their own country because they got tired of the asinine treatment they were getting from the other country they just left from, and they created a document that documents the Constitution, and it fucking works when you follow it to a T. It's beautiful. It's been working for 244 years now. It's beautiful. Follow it to a T. Oh, it's outdated. No, it's not outdated. It's fucking the perfect document. Just follow it. Stop infringing on people's right to free speech. Stop infringing on illegal search and seizures. Every time you go to an airport, that's an illegal search and seizure by people. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's ridiculous. Over time, they're just chipping away at that Constitution. We're going to be the People's Republic of America here shortly if it keeps going that way. People need to wake up and go, holy shit, no, I like reading whatever book I want to read. I like watching whatever TV station I want to watch. In Nazi Germany, you only could read whatever book Hitler or whoever douchebag Rommler or whatever said you could read. You can't read this book because it's bad, and they burn it.
Mhm.
No,
Yeah.
we can read whatever we want, you know. So,
They're doing
Yeah,
that.
the idea. Yeah, the idea of freedom, I don't think will ever get old. That is an idea that has stood the test of time over thousands of years, and so I
right.
think that's something that we all can again get behind and get fired up on, because when people are ignorant to give up their freedom because they were unaware that they even had it to begin with, that's when you need to get scared. And so you see us getting fired up about this happening, because this is no joking matter, man. And when you're talking about them trying to play with infringement on our rights, this is how it starts. This is
Well,
how it starts. Take away your abilities.
And it's a system where, like, you imagine, like, when you have a fire, or like when the planes hit the trade center, that somebody called the media like, hey, a plane just ran into a building. And then the news is like, oh, we're grabbing our camera and our camera guy, we're on our way. And then they get down there, they flip on their camera, hey, folks, we're live. And people are running out of the building. Hey, what did you see? What did you hear? Because these people running out are the ones that were there. And it could be like, well, I heard a couple of bombs go off right before, I think, a big boom, and that was the plane. And the media can be like, no, you didn't. You're a liar, you know? Like, no, that's the person that was there. The person, they're the victim, not the media, not the government. So, but what ends up at the end of the day, the media tells you what it was. The media tells you what happened. Is that the same with this border? Was it an invasion versus what the media wants to tell us? Were they, how would they know? They don't have access to intelligence, possible. So it's a system that whatever they say, people believe, and then they bring that onto you, and that's what we're fighting, is what they're hearing and repeating back, which sucks. And then over time, guns aren't good for you. Guns aren't good for you. Give yours up. They show you some fake little magic on TV of how you don't need it, and next thing you know, people are throwing it, in the back of that truck. Take my gun. I'll help save a life. It's like, all right.
Control.
Case in point. Exactly. Everybody control. Everybody, I'm sure, in the chat room, you guys all know about the Las Vegas shooting on October 1st, 2017. Everybody nods their head, correct, right?
Yes.
So I have firsthand knowledge. I mean, anybody can, if you don't believe me, you can YouTube Charleston Hartfield funeral, and you'll see my big ass get up on stage and give a eulogy. Charleston Hartfield was the only Las Vegas resident and the only police officer killed in that shooting. That was my best friend in the whole world. We grew up together. He is married to my beautiful cousin, Veronica, and I call him my cousin. We grew up together. I went into the Marine Corps, and he went in the Army, because he's obviously not as cool as me, right? But the thing I miss the most about that man is our Monday morning texts, and he would always text me something, something ridiculous about how the Marine Corps just, the Marine Corps top sniper team lost to the Coast Guard or something in some shootout challenge. And I'm like, yeah, we're still the Marine Corps, we're idiots, but it was fun. He was my best friend in the whole world. I can honestly tell every single one of you listening right now, what they're telling you through the media and everything. Oh, it was that Stephen Paddock guy, one shooter. He was crazy. Absolutely fucking bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
I was there October 1st. I was fucking there. Not at the shooting. I'm sorry. I was there October 2nd. Yes, October 2nd. At 7 o'clock in the morning. I had to fly from Sacramento to get down there with my family, because we just lost Charleston. But I can fucking tell you, people, what the media is telling you is absolutely false. Absolutely.
Well, I even, like, the mainstream channel, the night that happened, I'm laying in bed watching some breaking news on it. And one of the clips that they're showing later that night, or maybe it was the next night, we all get confused on the time back then. But one of the nights that was just fresh, they were showing, and it was a mainstream NBC. And the clip that they showed is the one where it's like somebody down on the ground level looking all the way up at that, and then you start hearing shots. And even on their channel, I saw what looked like a guy to drop down, and I came up off the bed because it came right out to me off a mainstream news, like NBC, we're talking ABC, something. And then I had to search for a few weeks, but I found that clip, and that's where people are like, well, is it manipulated? Is it, somebody Photoshop, Adobe? I don't know, because it was so fresh, and the news even showed that one, unless they, really quickly went to grab something online that's been manipulated, and they were shoving it around too. But I took it to be somebody's cell phone footage. But I clearly can see what appears to be a white man with a yellow vest on drop down and fan out a gun, and then flash happen, and it looks like people drop. That was even played, and it's just like,
Mike and I went back and forth big time on that video. Yeah, we took that. We even put in some software, try to blow it up, and it looked like, dude, that's he drops to one knee and goes bam, 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 bam. Then it's crazy. So we definitely know. And obviously, as veterans, we've all shot.
You guys want me to pull that up?
I'm assuming we've all shot highly.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Rifles that shoot at an extreme amount of projectiles in a short period of time. And we know the damage that a fully auto machine gun can do. And let me tell you, they don't sound like that, and they kill lots of people real quick. And
That's right.
we've seen this in other countries when they've unloaded fully automatic weapons into a crowd of people, and thousands die immediately. It's shooting fish out of a barrel. That's you just understand the fact that. Yeah, I agree 100%. That the mainstream narrative of one person doing that from that high up, nah, not taking it one bit. That goes against critical thinking.
Right. So I can't find it, but I swear to Buddha, I swear I saw it. They interviewed a Green Beret who happened to be there at the concert with his wife. Other than Charleston and Veronica, in fact, more than them. I mean, Charleston only served 2 tours. I think 1 in Iraq, 1 in Afghanistan. I think Charleston was a 2-tour guy. But this Green Beret had 12 tours. So I'm going to take this dude's word over anybody that's sitting there.
Yeah.
I remember seeing this video of interviewing him, and his exact words were, "We were being engaged from helicopters." I remember hearing that. I'm not making this up.
Wow.
I swear, Buddha, I've heard it. I've seen it. I cannot find it. And that Green Beret is now, the Army realized, oh crap, every time someone says something that, there was a shooter on the ground, they end up dead. Like that little 19-year-old girl who was smoking hot, weighed maybe a biscuit over 105 pounds, dies in her sleep. The one Hell's Angel guy mysteriously, said, no, I saw a guy with a gun on the ground. He dies in a hit and run. I mean, everybody who comes forward and talks about it, they, mysteriously die. But that Green Beret, I know he's still alive. I'm sure the Army said, guess what, man? There's some fuckery going on. We're gonna go ahead and send you down to Argentina for a while, and you're gonna stand post there, keep you safe until all this comes out. But I swear I seen that video. No, I did. I didn't. I'm not making this shit up. I swear to God, I'm not.
Let me see if I can find it here.
I see it. Type in former Green Beret on Las Vegas massacre. Wouldn't be surprised if shooter was trained. And that's it. I don't know if that's. I'm just going through a few videos here. It doesn't. It's more of a news. It's like a Fox business.
Well, how many shooters were there?
They only claim the one guy.
Yes, man, the video that I've seen, 2 on top of the Luxor.
Yeah, and there was a helicopter in that area circling around as well.
You could see that. The helicopter is clear.
How could one person squeeze off that many rounds without anybody doing anything about it? He's in a hotel room. Come on, people, get real. You know what I mean? How many rounds do you think you can really? How many could you get off?
No, the numbers they came out with. Remember, it was like he was hitting somebody like every. It was just too much, and then all the whole when he didn't hit, because they said he was trying to shoot that gas tower, that natural gas. There was some shots taken at that. Remember all the stuff they were coming up with?
So
how could one person do that? By himself? Was he Rambo Eddie in that one movie?
So every single weapon they showed in this hotel room all shot 5.56 or 2.23.
Yep.
That doesn't explain the 7.62 by 5.1 round that they pulled out of Charleston's back.
Interesting. Well, yeah.
Throw that
Wow.
Yeah.
Throwing that out there.
Never knew that.
Now 7.62 by 51, that would be an American 308, I believe, right? Versus the AK-47s, that's the same round, or the SKS would be the little bit smaller round. So wow, and that's a good point, because all the weapons they did show, quote unquote, in the picture were all, you're right, they were all either 5.56 or 2.23 capability rounds, and a lot of them, you didn't have the SAW, you didn't have no squad operated weapon there that had a 100-round drum or 200-round belt fed. You don't have that kind of stuff. And it was interesting, the sounds that you heard, that sounds just like a 60 cal on a tripod with a soldier feeding and one guy pushing the button. That's just my experience. And when I was shooting a 50 cal, that's that rapid bap, 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 because the slide is a lot larger than a 5.56. 5.56, like, that's tiny stuff.
Yeah. 5.56, people, is a varmint round. 2.23, a varmint round. For squirrels,
Yes.
small game. Yeah. It's a very, like, when you fire one, it's very high pitch. It's not a big round. It's not a thud.
Damn.
You can hear. All people have to do is just do a little bit of research, and you'll figure out. Holy shish kebab! This was
Man.
not what they're telling.
See how veterans look at things as opposed to a civilian. How he picked that all out.
So, there's 4 veterans in this room right now, right? So let's say you're 32 floors up of the Mandalay Bay, which is not the Mandalay Bay, because 32 floors and above is the Four Seasons of Saudi Arabia. All you have to do is research.
Yes.
But let's say you knock out a window, and you have all these AR-15s, 5.56 or 2.23, no matter what it is, with a bump stock, and you're shooting down on a crowd of people. I happen to be a great shot, phenomenal, not to toot my own horn, but I'm pretty sure that out of 900 or so rounds that this gentleman, or not gentleman, this piece of shit, or whatever you want to call him, Steve Paddock, supposedly shot, not one of them, not one round hit any of the tents that were lined up along Las Vegas Boulevard facing the Mandalay Bay. Not one bullet hole. I swear to God, people, I drove by it the day after the shooting to go pick up Charleston's vehicle at the concert place. I had to be the one to go down there. My little Marine Corps eyes are going, wait a minute, this dude's up here and he's shooting down over here, and not one round straight and put a hole in the little pop-up tents for the beer garden, or where they sell the t-shirts or whatever. I wasn't at the concert, so I don't know what they were selling.
Yeah.
But not one hole. This guy didn't fire off one loose round. It doesn't. Come on, people. Open your eyes.
Well, I agree with you. When Woodman made a great point. You guys, this is why we're getting and doing this, because our view on things is a little bit more critical than somebody who's running the wheel every day and has no idea about deception. If I was 30 stories high, how high is a story? It's about 10 feet, right? 10, 15 feet per story. And so you're 30 feet up. So we know that a squared plus b squared, or times b squared equals c squared. We're going to find the hypotenuse. There's a lot of videos out there, by the way, that has the actual hypotenuse of the building and the ground, which is the distance between the two, right? This is just trajectory mathematics, folks, which is more than long range tapping somebody with efficiency. And you're correct. Even if the man had zero shooting skills, statistics tell us that by dumb luck, you would have to have per 30 round, or if you had 100 round, I know they had a couple 100 rounds, you'd have to have at least 10 rounds per 100 round clip, or 3 to 5 rounds per 30 round clip. That would be striation. It would be aware. You'd have deflection. every time you grab that finger, bam, 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 bam. If it was full auto, like the sounds told us, you have a rise. I didn't see no weight bag on top that people do for a full auto. So all of these things that you look at through a critical eye that says, wait a minute, this 2 and 2 is not making 4 here. They're telling us 2 and 2 only equals
Did they
5.
come up with the angle? Like, you know,
They have. Oh yeah, there's a lot of YouTubes out there. It's this real simple algebra. You just find the hypotenuse. Every long range shooter, because we're no longer active, so we don't do sniper because that's a person trying to kill him. But just for that idea, that's how you find your distance. Or how about when a guy goes up, looks at a tree, how high is that tree? I don't want to climb it and put a rope down there. He goes up and this is real simple mathematics to see how long the shot was. And for the 5.56 and the guns that they showed did not have the capability to do what they were
out
saying
here anymore. Like, they scrubbed a lot of them. I don't think I got that one either. I thought it'd always be on YouTube, but it was just the main one that somebody sent in. I don't see it anymore. I can't find it anywhere. Can you?
Oh, that's our history. They're going to scrub it away like every other part of our history.
It's gone.
Could you find it, Ben?
Well, the only one I found was a Fox News, and this had come out, and it's still up there. And it says at least 50 dead, over 200 injured, shooting Las Vegas Strip. And Mike, it's a former Green Beret on Las Vegas massacre. Wouldn't be surprised if shooter was trained. But again, that's from Fox News, and it doesn't really hold much weight. It's a dual screen. We can just look at the evidence at hand, and we can tell you, veterans know a false flag when they see one. There's a lot of indicators. It's almost like if it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, then what is it? It's a duck. 9/11, false flag. Vegas shooting, false flag. These shootings at schools, false flags. Just do a little bit of research, folks. And this is what we're trying to promote. Don't believe what we say. Do your own research. Connect the dots for yourself and check everything. Everything.
Yes. Believe nothing until you can verify it. But
what was in history? They sunk the USS Maine or something to start a war.
Lusitania?
Sinking of the Lusitania.
Yeah, oh my God, the enemy sunk our ship. We end up sinking our own ship to get involved in that war. Come on, people.
Yep. Gulf of Tonkin. Some say, Pearl Harbor. Did we have the pre-knowledge that it was coming?
9/11.
9/11. All of them. Waco, Ruby Ridge. The first. Hey, how about the first time they tried to knock down the towers? That guy recorded the FBI. 93. That guy recorded the FBI because they're like, well, this time you're going to make a live bomb, and he didn't trust the FBI, so he's the agent. So he started recording them, and then he made the bomb. They gave it to the terrorists, and then they used it, and it actually went off. And he wanted to make sure he recorded because he didn't think it sounded right, and he thought this is going to come back on me. I'm going to end up in jail. I don't trust the FBI. So, and it was a facet. Again, it was black ops soldiers doing, stuff for the FBI. I don't know. This gets deep. We're going to close this one down, though. I got to get heading out. So you guys go ahead and say outros. I'll give you the floor for a minute, Chris. Say some encouraging words, and we'll talk to you soon. But here you go.
All right, here's some encouraging words for you guys. God is in control. God put Trump where he's at, and there are several hundred thousands of veterans that would gladly take up arms and defend you again. So things are looking on the up and up. Trust me. That's all I got.
All right,
I'm an idiot.
That's awesome. All right, we appreciate it, Chris. We'll see you back here soon. Here you go, Ben.
Have a good one, brother. Yeah, I would just, on the heels of that is, yes, you have a lot of patriots and a lot of veterans that would step into place in a nanosecond, in a heartbeat to defend our freedom. And, us four here do that. And again, I agree with it. God sets up kings and takes kings down. God sets up men to rule and takes them down. So we know this is happening, and this is a fight of good versus evil. And we're on the good side. Don't be caught in the evil, because people like us can come for you.
Woodman.
I'm really glad you guys got God involved in that conversation because it's completely true. And oh, you guys are just fantastic. I don't care when it comes to veterans. I don't care if you took the trash out. Were very important. You done your time. You can imagine if you had like a spoke wheel, and then all of a sudden one of those spokes are gone. It doesn't quite roll properly. You need everybody there. Now, saying that, veterans stick together just the same way as that wheel is made with spokes. We once we build a tie like that, we don't break it. We stand up for ourselves and our people 100%, 100%. And we don't run, don't tuck our tails. That's all I got to say. Airborne.
Amen, brother. All right, there you have it, folks. That was very awesome. I like to say sometimes some of my greatest times of my life and my years were in the military. And then even some of the time after, as time went on, I look back at those times and I was like grateful to work with a lot of veterans. And then times at my Legion meeting other veterans. But I'm starting to be able to say that about the Patriot Hour here. A show like today, 3 other veterans on, and then bringing you guys some truth. It's what an awesome experience. Very humbled. God bless each and every one of you. Look forward to some more videos throughout today, later tonight, tomorrow. Again, everyone you saw will be back at one point. Might have another show coming up with Scott at some point, if not in the next few days. Again, God bless each and every one of you. We'll see you back here real soon at the Patriot Hour. Thanks for, if you're not subscribed on the Patriot Tech, please get subscribed. This is where we do our live shows. And take a look in the description box. All the links are below. And have a great late afternoon into your evening.
Nice.
Still going,
Liking
but,
that, man.